also known as the rapper J Bambi, and also known as Oprah Gucci, depending on what other hemisphere of art you met me at or see me at. I'm a tarot reader, I'm a rapper, overall just writer, poet. I'm a teacher too. What else I do? I curate. I work with young people in a lot of different places outside of the classroom, so I also consider myself a community organizer. I don't consider myself an activist, I just consider myself a concerned nigga. So, a concerned nigga.
So, tell a story of how you began. Like when you were in school, what did you love to do? And
I think the earliest I can think of is like 4th, 5th grade. I really liked writing poetry. I liked doing like art class stories. You know, they used to do like the young authors book competitions when you were a kid, and I used to always do the book competitions. I've always been a big writer and enjoying expressing myself or writing stories or telling stories. I also was in a lot of orator competition, like a lot of competitions in grammar school and middle school for oration. Martin Luther King's speech, so I would have to memorize the Martin Luther King speech, and I would do so and then memorize it in front of, or recite it in front of the whole school, and I won that 2 years in a row. And that was something that kind of, even now as an adult, I look back and be like, damn, so nah, you've been speaking your mind, you've been talking your shit, you've been, you know, really doing things that other people couldn't do or like other people didn't think about doing. I have always felt the need to like write and say and do the things that make sure people are safe or, you know, inform people or speak up about something. I almost got suspended, in school suspension, for writing this poem about domestic violence and abuse and sexual assault, and really being like kind of more so graphic with it, but not so graphic. It was given PG-13. And they finally, after convincing them, let me write it, you know, and say it. And if I probably remember correctly, I probably had to edit it some or whatever, but I made sure it was very minimal editing. My biggest start in art was knowing that, you know, there was a time where I didn't feel like my voice mattered or my presence mattered or the things that I did mattered. And there were things, and also talking a lot in class and getting pink slip notes. So knowing I had a distinct voice and knowing that people heard my voice and knowing that I could project and say what it was that I need to say on top of like my artistic capabilities, I knew that there was something there, but I just did it because I had to, due to bullying, due to being picked on, due to just not feeling heard. I was a big sister, and I always constantly felt like I had aggression and sadness and angst and just, you know, just things that nobody else understood. I used to listen to Avril Lavigne's like first album, Let Go, and just be at home like raging with my headphones on my CD player, just being like to be able to say things like this and be able to communicate it and just feel that. So I always just feel like this has been me, like it's just who I am, and now I kind of get paid and get recognition outside of my own satisfaction for it.
How was your support system when you began?
Oh shit, I hope that whoever sees this know that I mean well. It wasn't really there, you know what I'm saying? My mom cared about me and wanted the best for me, but I think that it scared my mom when I started veering away from maybe what she had thought for me. You know, I played basketball too, and that was a big chunk of my life, but wasn't the most important thing to me. So for something that was damn near almost a third of my day for almost 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 years of my life, I didn't feel much joy from it. Of course we like winning, of course you like making shots, of course you like blocking somebody's ball in the paint, you know, of course you like being on ESPN or being in the newspaper or winning these regional sections. I went to Morgan Park. I didn't feel loved by it, I didn't feel supported in that place, but people wanted me to play basketball. People was like, yo, you gonna be in the WNBA and you gonna play overseas and all this other stuff, and I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't see it for me, and I saw it because of the money or whatever, you know, people wanted for me, but it wasn't what I wanted to do deep down. I didn't feel supported when I wanted to quit, and I didn't want to play no more. Like, deep down, you know, I believe that support was only reserved for those that fit certain molds or fit certain things, or, you know, you feel like it came more naturally, or, you know, you had more belief in them. It's like, if you believe in somebody, you support them, but I didn't feel like I had a lot of people believe in me, you know. I dropped out, came home. I was the vice president of the poetry team in college, when I went to college, and I used to read poetry at prisons across the city and across the state when I was away in school, and like I didn't feel supported there except like one or two people, you know what I'm saying? Like people who I was directly working with or directly seeing what was going on with me and changing within me, and I just felt very isolated. Even now I felt very isolated, ostracized, outlier, felt like nobody could see what I was trying to do or, could really piece together the vision. People who I don't even know who support me, which I am very grateful for, but there are people who I love and who are very close to me. I feel like I had to beg and pull and fight teeth to come to a damn show or, buy a ticket or see the vision without questioning how I'm going to pay for some shit or how I'm going to get something done or how you going to do this. And it's like, I don't feel like I ever was fully supported until I got a little bit older. A lot of niggas didn't believe me when I was trying to dream big. And it was a lot of times just me and my ancestors. I feel like growing up and really getting into my spiritual practice and tarot leading me where I am now is that they've taught me that sometimes the people who are going to support you the most are the people who are not here and the people who you can't see.
What was the biggest lesson you learned about yourself?
I was standing in my way a lot of times. I felt like I didn't work as hard as I could have because of the support. I didn't feel like I could do it. I was a lot of self-sabotage. But I also think my biggest lesson is if you do it, it'll get done. It might not get done when you want it to. And I think one thing my mom always tells me is that God, no matter what you believe in, the Most High, ancestors, the universe, it don't happen when you want it, it will happen on time. And there was a lot of times where I didn't trust the timing of things. And now that I'm older and I've gone through a couple, I'm a little seasoned in the Sagittarius, arena, and also very seasoned in the Saturn return arena. I'm in my last year and some change. And I feel like Saturn has really taught me to really respect patience and time, because there was times where I was going through it and there's no way I could have got half the work done. So I'm just like, why is work so slow and why is it hard to get things done? Because this is a time for self-development. This is a time for my emotions. This is a time for my subconscious, my shadow, my spiritual work that needs to get done. And then when that shit starts kicking up, that means that work is in a place that you can function. So I've had to really learn that there were times and periods or spurts where I might not understood what was going on, but there was shit that was happening behind the scenes that was helping me be a better person, even if I couldn't understand it in that time. But I'd be like, damn, now I see why this couldn't happen back then. Or damn, I see why I couldn't get this opportunity back then. Sometimes it ain't about you being ready, but sometimes it's about you ain't had the right people around you.
What has consistency taught you?
That shit, I've been in the one in my way. Shit, I should have been getting some shit cracking. And consistency also shows you with band, it shows you thinking about a tree or like a plant. The lemon, not something growing on the plant, damn, ain't nobody watching me grow. I ain't getting no gold star for, I ain't getting no satisfaction or instant gratification for growing. No, they just grow. They grow to their full potential. They don't care who watching or what's happening. And nature has taught me a lot about consistency. Seasons have taught me a lot about consistency, about growth, and how that growth will happen if you just keep going, even if it goes this way. Sometimes we see the plan go this way a little bit and we like, oh shit, it's gonna fuck up, it's going wrong, and then it go up, and it's like a vine. So sometimes we just have to trust that things are gonna grow and go the way they want to. And consistency also shows us where the mistakes were at, or where these were my high points. Okay, this I work good at these times. But if you only work on it one time, you'll never know how to work on it better. Mistakes are going to happen with consistency. Being consistent means that the mistakes hurt less, because you just keep going, and it doesn't mean that they hurt less, you won't be affected by rejection or anything like that, but you will still just understand it's a part of the game, it's a part of the work.
What are the hurdles you had to overcome? Keeping
myself in a box because of the way I felt like I was being perceived by society. I dealt with a lot of bullying, being plus size, being, things I can't control. I can't control that I'm 6'3". I can't control my voice. I can't control that I'm dark skinned. I can't control that I'm black. I can't control the fact that I'm a woman. I can't control the fact that I'm a cis woman. I can't control the fact that I was born the way I am. My queerness and my womanhood and my blackness, all these things feel like they have to be more important than the other. And I feel like there's a lot of times where I've had to really be like, the spaces that want me and the spaces that are good for me, healthy for me, they're going to help me thrive, that I should look to be paid for, ones that are going to accept me and want me to come as my full self. I don't want to work for white people that want me to put my radicalism or my blackness or my revolutionary at the door when I come in. I think the biggest hurdle is like really not allowing other people's ignorance or other people's questions or other people's, you know, judgments or negativity keep me from, you know, following my dreams. There's a lot of white people and men and all these other people with power who have not liked what I've done, holding accountability circles, you know, calling niggas out, get over the hurdle of trying to save everybody, you know, even with my art or my work, you know, curating spaces and expecting certain people to be there, knowing that they're not ready for this type of healing, they're not ready for that type of growth.
Oh, what are the sacrifices you had to make?
Sheesh. So I've had to sacrifice my old self for my new self a lot of times. I've had to really be like, okay, G, you gonna keep being her? You gonna keep being shorty, or you gonna do this? Cause this Jasmine got the plan. This Jasmine had the plan. This Jasmine was very important in your growth, but this Jasmine has served its purpose, you know, and I think that that's really been important for me, is really respecting my butterfly cocooning processes.
That's good.
That's just been it, like really just respecting that growth process. Sacrificing the feeling of FOMO, like you're not missing shit. Like I've done water fasts and spiritual fasts, and those fasts have taught me that everything that you think where the party at is inside you. Like that shit is really what's going to even make the parties and all the fun shit outside you even worthwhile when you together. I sacrifice this going out and kicking it and having a good time for getting myself together and not drinking or not smoking or not indulging the ways I wanted to. I had to sacrifice friends and lovers, sacrifice my ego, you know, also sacrifice control, you know, what we've been talking about. Sacrifice, you know, making people happy. You know, really there's people like who I love and have loved and did love at one point. We're no longer in each other's lives, and I've had to really be like, I know that deep down I want to make everybody happy and not look like the bad person or not make people upset, but deep down I know if I don't make this decision for myself, I'm going to regret it or resent you. I'm going to take one for the team and decide to do what's best for me, so that we can always do what's best for ourselves. And one of my favorite quotes from an astrologer that I love says, when you do what's best for you, you're doing what's best for everybody. Because then everybody else is able to, you know, flex their full autonomy to decide what's best for them too.
What has been important in your art? Like, one of the things, what has been important that people feel or you want them to feel from your art?
I want them to be healed. Like, I want my shit to feel like gospel, you know, in all different cases. Like, I want niggas to hit that, like I was in a good space. I felt affirmed in this space. I felt safe in this space. There's so many times when I was younger, I used to go to parties or go to events and I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel like there was a space for me. I didn't feel like there was room for me. And I always want to, when I throw parties or events, I always want to make sure there's room for who attends. And thinking a lot about how there's so many things that we as people, especially as artists, we forget, is that we have a responsibility. And D'Angelo reminds me of that all the time. You know, D'Angelo has this memoir and like this letter he has written in the Voodoo album that Saul Williams wrote. And it's like, one of the things he talked about is like, you know, you tend to your craft like you will want the Most Higher God to tend to your life. And it's like when you do that work, and it's from your heart, your soul, you'll always make money. You always get the things. You will get the respect and notoriety. And there will be haters. You know, Jesus had haters, child. He was out here trying to do the best and save the world. And they killed that nigga on a cross and maimed him and made him a laughing stock and put him out there. And sometimes forgive them for not know what they do. So sometimes the art got to get done for the sake of the art and the Most High. And, you know, the people who will be here after. You know, Harriet Tubman didn't just save them slaves just to save their lives. She saved our lives too. You know, so the work is just longer than the lifetime in front of us. And I think that's important for my art too, is that I'm representing and looking out for these communities, and especially including the communities that I relate to and resonate with and are part of, but also to look out for people who are going to be here after me. And that I also make sure that the art I make and the art that I create is something I want to fucking play it back and I can stand by it. If I wrote some shit about somebody, I want to be able to be 20, 30 years later, I stand by that, and I remember when I wrote this, and I remember when I said this. You know, facts aren't feelings, and your therapist and shit teach you that all the time. So there's a lot of times where there's some art that's just for me that I make, and I put in the Google Drive, or I put on the voice memo, and then there's art that I think is ready and important to share with the world. And of course, people have, you know, middle ground on that, like, you know, you should just share, but it's like, so many artists we've seen had to go back and double back, or be like, I can't even perform that shit anymore, or I'm so triggered by performing that shit, because sometimes an artist has to decide, am I performing this because I'm performing, or am I performing this because this is something I really want to perform? And I've had to really decide, like, am I being vulnerable for vulnerable's sake, because that's what it's supposed to be. You just give yourself away to these people who won't even give a fuck about you when the next big thing or the next thing get hot on the market, or can I stand by what I said? So it's important for my art to be drenched, dipped, and layered in integrity, morals, and intentional values.
Oof. Okay. What are the expectations you needed to let go of?
Being accepted by men. There are so many times, like especially in the art and the music and the creative industry where I feel like I've had to be unnecessarily like sexy for a loser ass nigga, like, or like, you know, I be in the studio, you feel me, and I feel like I've had to be nice to men, or, you know, I've had to really like let go of the expectation that people will see my value, see my worth, you know, off rip, and I know it's been, and also expecting people to not try to make me prove that to them, and even though I don't, and I try not to, but we're all human. We all slip into it. I'm like, yo, I really let go of the expectation of people. You know, I like approved of on the same level. Like, you know what I'm saying? I let go of the expectation that just because I did some shit good, don't mean I'm going to see the payout now. You know, sometimes we do good shit, and it's for good shit's sake. Yeah, make some good shit, and you shouldn't get a cookie for that. You don't make weak ass shit just because you ain't getting and nobody's looking. You know, you're supposed to always be great. So I've had to let go of the expectation that I deserved a high five or a gold star or a cookie for being great. You know, I'm being great for my sake and not nobody else's.
This next question I ask people because I feel like everybody has their own in their life what the definition of success means for them personally. So what does success mean for you?
Success means to me not having to ask my mama for money no more. For real. I want to be able to give my mom money and not be hurting for it. I want to be able to take care of my family and also take care of myself. I want to be able to travel whenever I want to leisurely. I want to be able to have an emergency fund with at least a couple bands in there, a lot of bands in there. I want to be able to have a travel fund. I want to be able to have a fund for rent, bills, utility, and then have a fund just for whatever the fuck I want to do. I want to be able to have more than one place where money is coming from. I think success is being able to carry yourself and the people around you. I also think success is being able to share that success with other people. Like, I'm hoping that when I be able to travel leisurely, I can help other young people travel like my mentors have. I have mentors that pay for plane tickets or help me get somewhere, or, you know, help me with an event, or help me get clothes, or help me get my hair done, help them pay their therapy, or help them, you know, get money, clothes, whatever things they need. You know, and I think success is being able to help people so that they can see that, like, what you do is possible, and that it won't make you cold and bitter and an evil ass billionaire. You know, success is also never losing that inner voice and that inner guidance and that groundedness. You know, there's so many people, including like Robert Williams, and he's an actor that I love, that success for them was, you know, tested. You know, not money ain't it. You know, having money is what we need in society, but if we didn't have to need money in this society, I bet you a lot of people's answers would change.
What a part of the process you had to learn to love?
Discipline. Nobody liked that shit. You know, I play basketball. That shit is not fun. Nobody likes running all the time. Nobody likes having to go to two-a-days, or having to go to weight training, or, maybe having to watch, what you decide to eat because it's making you lethargic or tired, it's giving you heartburn because you're eating Flamin' Hots. When I played high school basketball, we had to watch how many Flamin' Hots we ate, or the shit we ate from the corner store, you feel me? Like, discipline is not easy, and again, like, being an artist, like fasting and shit, like I just finished doing this 7-day fast I mentioned, and like it's not a race, like it's on me, like I can't go back to who I was, and I think that that's a part of the process I've had to learn, is that you might want to bullshit, but you gotta keep going forward. Like you just can't ignore the fact that like there are times where your behaviors or actions or the way you saw the world or the way you interacted with it was not helping you grow as an artist, or wasn't progressive, or wasn't growth inducing, and I had to be like, damn, okay, I gotta do something different. Being open to change, that's hard because that's a part of control. So having to be open to change, like, okay, you can't do this event now. You want to do it now, you can't. You wish you had the money for this, now you can't. What you gonna do? You either pause, you can reschedule, or you can do something different. So learn to be flexible, learn how to adopt change, and also learn how to just stay consistent with discipline.
What inspires you to keep going?
Sheesh, the will of Jesus, to be quite honest with you, because, I think sometimes nihilism isn't talked about enough. There's a lot of times where I just feel like the world is doomed, and them times where I feel like the world is doomed, there's like this smaller voice, or like this smaller like thunder inside of me that just be like, no, it's not, just keep going. Even if you got to take a break, even if you got to pull back, you got to take a sabbatical, it is not in vain. Like none of this shit is in vain. So I've had to remember this shit is not in vain, for sure.
What's your advice for the artist behind you?
Don't settle. Don't do shit because everybody else is doing it. Don't get a fucking camera because you saw your friend was good with a camera. Don't buy tarot cards because you saw the lady on the internet was good with tarot cards. Do you see everybody trying to be LeBron? You can't fake that. And even niggas who try to be LeBron can't, because there's just certain things you can't fake. Nobody can take you from you. So I would tell you to be true to yourself. Nigga, if you're supposed to be the best paperclip maker in the world, nigga, be the best paperclip maker in the world. Don't run away from your destiny because it don't look like what everybody else is doing. I'd be like, damn, I'm not making music like everybody else. I'm not reading tarot like everybody else. I don't see the world like everybody else, And I found that to be discouraging instead of encouraging, that my uniqueness was solidified in this time, like really being like, damn, like I'm worried about being looked at, or I'm worried about being seen as different. Be okay with being different. Like, think about how many artists you love now. Young Barbecue, Doja Cat, you feel me? Jay Versace. These people are staying out. You gotta be okay with being extraordinary. You gotta be okay with being different. You gotta be okay with being weird. You gotta be okay with seeing words that people might have used against you to bully you with, or ostracize you with, as strengths instead of weaknesses. Whatever's going on in the future, I don't know. Don't be doing shit based on systemic pressure. I do the Brown Skin Lady show here in Chicago, and like I had to make sure that when I did shit for women, that and the people who identify as women and live their lives experiencing themselves as women, you don't want to be trying to be misogynist or self-hating or put the same type of women up. You know what? If I'm a dark-skinned queer black woman, why would I not put up other dark-skinned queer black women, or put up other women who might not get opportunities because of their size, or because of their background, or because of their sound? Trying to switch it up. Being able to frame these things where things fit with your mission. Back to, all of it kind of ties together. Remember your mission. Remember your values. Don't do shit because white supremacy said so, and white supremacy said not to do so. Have people in your life who have gifts and things that other people might see as hindrances. Don't not be friends with somebody or work with somebody because they're autistic or deaf or blind. Work with people who have gifts in different places. Don't work with people who are just straight. Don't work with people who are just women. Don't work with people who are just men. Don't work with people who are just one thing. Work with people in different places. You'll never know who can put you in the right place. Ask for help. As fuck. Ask for help. Have a spiritual practice. Whenever all the world gets really like loud and very like daunting and very nihilistic and just feels like nothing's hopeful, go back to your spiritual team, like quiet your mind, your heart, your body, your soul, and really listen to the people and the things inside you that keep you going.
How has your spirituality helped you in your journey?
It makes everything more purposeful. I hear voices that other people don't hear. I hear congratulations from people that I fuck around probably don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, spirituality has given me purpose. When I need answers that other people can't give me, I go to them. When I need people who I know got my best interests and really are going to give me the answers and the calls and the cues that I need and go tell me this ain't right or you should do this, you should do that, I go to my team. I book a reading. You know, I talk to my therapist. You know, spiritual team ain't just the spirits of your ancestors or, you know, cards or crystals. It's like your therapist is keeping your head on straight too. Your mentors are keeping your head on straight too. You need a team. So spirituality has shown me how everything is just not one dimensional and everything is everything. And everything you're doing to make sure you're a better person all count. It ain't just one more than the other. You going out and having a good time, it's just as healing and therapeutic as you fasting and, staying put.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Yes, G.
That's
Probably gonna get really far, and I came out a tar. I'm coming out the sea. I know a nigga is what a bitch really needs, and I know I gotta go, and I know I'm really fleet. I go thrift store, and the nigga got a feet, and I got a nigga treat, and I got a nigga treat, and I know a nigga want it. What the fuck is the weed? I'm coming with the pack, and I got it what it needs. I know a nigga want me, and I know a nigga leave, and I know it's after tequila, and I know I'm gonna sip, and I know I'm gonna dip, and I know a nigga trip, I know it's Sagittarius season, and I'm coming with fire, and I'm coming with niggas, and I don't fuck